So, as we said, the EFL fixtures are out, and all eyes, of course, often to the relegated sides, one of which is West Ham. Joining us now, the former West Ham and England striker, Tony Cottee. Hi, Tony.
Hi, Paul. Hi, Andy. Apologies, I can't get my camera to work, so you'll have to listen.
Right. We know you haven't changed since when you were playing for West Ham. You look as great as ever. That's right. So we've all got a picture in our mind's eye of you. So first, let's salute the fans. No one's ever questioned the dedication and devotion of the West Ham fan base. It's always felt a bit Lions led by donkeys, really. So 35,000 season tickets sold. Fair play to them, I'd say.
Yeah, I think they're going to nudge up towards 40,000, and I think that's probably without doing kids for £1 and things like that, Paul, which they've done previously in the Championship. So it'd be nice to think that you'd be getting on for sort of sellouts every week, and it's going to be a new experience for a lot of fans. I mean, they've not been relegated for 15 years. So for a lot of the youngsters, a lot of the younger fans that saw West Ham win the Conference League 3 years ago, it's a new experience for everyone. For old people like me, it's just, oh, here we go again sort of thing, you know. So, I'm sort of looking forward to it, although I must admit the first fixture, Burnley away on Sunday at 4 o'clock, has not really whet the appetite too much.
It could be fun for the fans if they start winning. You know, it's much better than what they've been through in the last few years. So.
Yeah, I mean, it is a tough old league. You know, it's Saturday, Wednesday. It's pretty attritional, and you really have to be on it, don't you? Because for all those teams that come up, there are teams like Stoke, for example, who kind of get mired.
Yeah, well, and Leicester. What about one of my other old clubs?
Of course, yeah.
Luton as well. I know not as big a club as Leicester or West Ham, but you've got to be very careful. I mean, I must admit, I'm slightly concerned at the moment. I mean, there's been a lot going on at board level that's been, widely publicised. That needs to be sorted out at board level so that you've got people at the club, the right people making the right decisions. And they've got to get on with it. You know, there's going to be a lot of unhappy players there, players that will feel that they should be playing in the Premier League and not the Championship. So you've got to deal with those players.
Yeah, it's their fault, though, isn't it?
Work out the team and who you're going to play for next season. So, if they're not careful, all of a sudden it'll be a week before the transfer window shuts. And if you haven't sold or bought anyone, then there's going to be absolute chaos at the club.
Yeah, they've got to decide. Sorry, Paul. They've got to decide that they've got Fernandes, who Spurs and other clubs,
and Manchester United,
Somerville, another player that people want, and of course Bowen. The feeling is, though, Tony, that Bowen will probably stay because of his loyalty to the club.
Might give you another season, you think?
Yeah, well, it might be more to the point that Danny Dyer will have him up against the wall. Jarrod's got a very difficult decision to make. Many, many years ago, I left my club. West Ham's my club. You all know that. And, I had to make a professional decision. And Jarrod's going to have to do the same thing. I mean, yes, of course, the fans want him to stay. Yes, of course, the club want him to stay. But, it's going to be a personal decision for Jarrod. And if I was him, I would be absolutely gutted, particularly after watching those first two England games, that he's not in the England squad, because he gives something different to not just to West Ham, but to England as well. So, he's 29 now and he's got his big 5-year, if you like, last contract coming up. He's got to make the right decision.
And ironically, of course, the other club he's being linked with is Everton. David Moyes would like to take him to Everton.
I think that there's quite a few players that David Moyes would like to take to. They've constantly been linked with Souček. I think I saw he got injured yesterday. And there'll be other players that David Moyes will be a fan of. So, but it's reality and the fact of getting relegated. Your boys would have had the same, Paul. If you get relegated. Sure. There's going to be a mass clear out, and unfortunately, it was West Ham that went down.
Yeah. We picked out the Millwall games. That was the first thing that Max went to. 19th of September at the Den, and at your place, 20th of Feb. So they are going to be fiery old matches, aren't they?
Yeah, I would have thought the home game, they'll probably shut Westfield and it'll be a 9 o'clock in the morning kickoff.
Yeah. Feeling for that.
I mean, I suppose if you're not a West Ham or Millwall fan, it's hard to get your head around it. But it's a history that goes back many, many years, even over 100 years. So going back to the Dockers in the original days, and as you know, Paul, I think when West Ham are in the Premier League, their main match to look forward to is Tottenham, and if they're in the Championship, we look forward to the Millwall game. So that won't change. And there'll be a lot of fans that will be experience the hostility of that game for the first time.
Now, you mentioned Leicester, and it's hard to think it can get any worse for them. And you think of that relationship between the owners and the fan base and all the glory of a decade ago.
Go so wrong so quickly.
I mean, to win the title, that great fairy tale, but that relationship,
and even winning the cup in 21.
Yeah, seems to be in the mud now, doesn't it? It's going to be. They go to Notts County first game of the season, so it's going to be a tough. They've got to bounce back, haven't they?
Yeah, of course. And we're just mentioning Notts County. What a historic club that is, isn't it? One of the clubs, and they've been down in non-league football, so. You have to be so careful. I've already mentioned it, Paul. You've got to be so careful because if you get things wrong at board level and then it filters down, and then if you've got the wrong manager in place, which has been the case for West Ham over the last 3 years, I'm still not sure we've got the right manager in place. Then all of a sudden you've got absolute chaos at the club, and players, I say, that don't really want to be there, think they're better than what they are, etc. And the Championship is going to be. You mentioned League One for Leicester. That's going to be tough. But the Championship is, with the teams, you've got Wolves spending money. You've got Southampton should have gone up, as we know. There's good, fantastic clubs in that Championship. And it's not going to be easy to get out of. And if you're, I don't know, say you're a Lincoln player. I mean, the one game you're going to look forward to is playing at the London Stadium in front of 60,000 fans. Every home game is going to be a cup final for the opposing team. And then when they go away from home, as we've already said, West Ham have got a fantastic fan base, and even Burnley, 4 o'clock on a Sunday, they'll pack their end out, and the fans will travel to all the games, making it a great atmosphere. But the players have got to respond. They're the ones that, it's all right blaming the board and the manager and everything. The players are the ones that have got to roll their sleeves up and get themselves out of the mess that they got themselves in last season.
Yeah, that's a good point, because I think that was our great fear as Spurs fans going down, that we would have been a scalp. And with respect, West Ham are not quite the scalp Tottenham would have been, because they've not been in that division for a very long time. But they are still a scalp, and it's a big day out in London and in that big ground. So they're going to have to watch that, aren't they? Watching teams raise their game.
Yeah, and you've got to do it, and they'll do what Ghana did the other night and put 11 men behind the ball and counter attack, and you can't keep moaning about it. You've got to deal with it. Those sort of tactics have been in football for years. I get so frustrated, and you think, we didn't realise Ghana were going to play like that. Well, we all knew Ghana were going to play like that. And the great Liverpool team of the 80s, the Man U team of the 90s, they've had to play against 11 men behind the ball, and you've got to break teams down. And I'm not comparing West Ham with those fantastic teams, obviously, or even England, but, in relation, West Ham are going to have difficulties at home when teams put a lot of players behind the ball.
We spoke to Alan Pardew yesterday after the Ghana game, Tony, and he was feeling, we were sort of saying that what they needed at one point was a little bit of chaos. It all got very predictable. They dealt with all the set pieces. We couldn't get in behind them the way they set up. And a little bit of chaos may be in the shape. He mentioned Dan Burn for set pieces, but he also mentioned Ivan Toney. And you just felt someone to get on the end of stuff for Kane to maybe feed off, and some of those other players to get around him.
It was a mistake not bringing him on.
It did seem. I mean, he scored a lot of goals in these behind closed doors friendlies, so he'll probably get some game time tomorrow night or Saturday night. So, what did you think of that, Tony?
I think tactically you've got to, Paul. Listen, I get the first half was poor, wasn't it? And then you go half time, you do your team talk with the players, and then you say, well, we'll give it another 10, 15 minutes. I get all that. But we could see, everyone could see after 50 minutes, in other words, 5 minutes of the second half, it wasn't working. And you've got to do something different. Rashford made a difference when he came on. O'Reilly made a difference, but they should have been playing in the first place. And, you've got your options. If you've got a big lad, whether it's Dan Burn or me personally, I would have taken Harry Maguire. You could have put Harry Maguire up front for 10 minutes, or Ivan Toney, or whatever. Just do something different rather than just let things peter out to a 0-0 draw. And in the end, we got away with it, didn't we? I mean, we could easily have conceded a penalty or whatever. And all of a sudden it's not looking so good. And then you go into the other half of the draw and you're playing Spain's and France's and that, I mean, we're going to win the group. We're going to beat Panama and that. But going forward, and this is why I was critical of Tuchel when he announced his squad, in my opinion, there were 6 players in that squad who are not going to either play a game or can't change a game.
Yeah.
You leave Cole Palmer behind, Morgan Gibbs-White behind, Jarrod Bowen behind, Trent Alexander behind, Harry Maguire. They're players that can make a difference when you get the tight games, the likes of Ghana and that. I mean, whoever we play in the next round, in the first knockout phase, it's going to be a third-place team that's qualified. They're going to put 11 men behind the ball. We'll probably go for the same thing. And we're not good at penalties, or we haven't been, have we? So it's frustrating, and we all seem to be able to see it. And then you just, I don't know whether the managers and the staff get so wrapped up with things that they can't see the wood for the tree sometimes.
Yeah,
I mean, they were very worried about when they kept saying about the patience, about being caught on the break. They almost played with a bit of fear, and there
was a little bit of fear, certainly, where they played in front of them.
Yeah.
But Tony, we will. Yeah, sorry, sorry.
Set pieces were dreadful, weren't they? You know, and it's like saying get the big man up front, but if you can't beat the first man, with Declan Rice and and others taking free kicks at corners, it was just so frustrating to watch, because we all know we've got good players. We all know that possibly we can win the World Cup, but unless we play a lot better than that, the first time we come up against a good team or play against the elements, will be the case when we play Mexico at 7,000 feet.
Yeah.
It's not going to be an easy game.